Everybody, welcome to the second Typedream webinar. For those of you tuning in from the US, good evening, and for those of you in Asia, good morning. So in today's webinar, we're going to talk about how you can generate leads through making free products or freebies. But before we get started, I want to have everybody type W's in the chat just so that we know you're here. And to just say hello, and then if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat during the presentation and we'll answer them as we go along. So a little bit about myself. So my name is Steven and I work on the product team here at Typedream. And yeah, today I'm going to show you how you can create a good free product for your online business using Typedream. So if you're here last week, Kevin did a webinar on how to find your niche, and just a little recap for that. There are 3 important steps you need in order to know what to do for your online business. The first step to that is to find your unfair advantage. That means figuring out what you're good at and what problem you want to teach other people to solve. And a lot of times that can be accomplished by, pulling out your resume, looking at your accomplishments, and seeing what are things you can teach other people to overcome or achieve. And once you have that down, you want to gauge for demand and you want to see how many people want what you sell. And for example, with accomplishments like getting into a good college, that's something that a lot of kids want to do as they graduate high school. So that a lot of people are going to want to tune into you and want to listen to you. Once you've secured, the demand, the supply, and what problem you want to teach other people to solve, you want to look across the internet, you want to look around and see who are other creators in this space that inspire you, who can you emulate best practices from, but at the same time, how do you add your own twist to it so you stand out? So whether it's narrowing it down to geography or occupation, you want to be as specific and as targeted as possible. So now that we have a good idea, a solid idea of what we want to do, what niche we want to attack, the next step is to create value. And one of the best ways you can do that is to create a free product. Now, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive because our end goal here is to make money and to sell things. And if I spend a lot of time, making a free product, how is that going to help me? Well, there are actually 3 good reasons for why you should create a free product as a start, as a stepping stone to your journey of making your first dollar online. And the first of those reasons is that it actually generates credibility. It establishes you as a thought leader in the space you're at, and it lets your audience know that you're actually knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about, right? It builds this trust, this connection, and this foundation. And second, by offering a free product, it's actually a really good way to get a mailing list, a list of people who are interested in what you have to offer. And how this will help you is that you can actually go back to these people when you have your paid product and cross-sell and upsell it to them. And the third reason is because a free product is lower risk and it establishes a lower risk environment for you to test whether or not what you're selling, what you're offering, is something that the audience really, really wants. And it gives you the time to collect feedback and it gives you the time to iterate on the product before you launch, your paid service or your paid product in the marketplace. So as you can see, for example, one of the great free products that a lot of people do is offering Notion templates, and a lot of people, want to have a Notion template to help them be more productive and have a better workflow. There are also other types of freebies that attract a paying audience, and these 2 examples kind of give you a better idea as to how this freebie ecosystem works. So for example, you may know this famous YouTuber and TikToker called Bob, and she's really big about food and cooking. So what she does is she creates these short form content, giving free recipes and cooking tutorials for many delicious dishes. And she's gained a loyal following because of that. So further down the line, when she wants to sell and when she wants to make money, by opening a restaurant called Mija Soul, for example, people on the internet will know that it's good because she's a foodie. She knows her stuff. She shared all these different food adventures with us. So a lot of people are going to flock to her restaurant. Same thing with One Salting. One Salting is a paid career coaching company, and one of the founders, Jonathan, right, he started out by sharing his resume template, with students, because college kids, recruiting is a big thing, and he's worked at these different companies that a lot of people want to get into: Google, Cisco, Snap, right? And so he's essentially saying, hey, I know you want to get into those places. Let me show you my resume when I was in your shoes, and here's the resume, and see what you can take from that. And because it has helped people get their jobs, it gives him leverage to charge or to monetize his career coaching service, and a lot of people would naturally flow into that path. And there are also other ideas. Feel free to screenshot this. Some people make ebooks, as I mentioned before. They make Notion templates. Lists and curations are also a good idea. If you look at the points guy, they make these reviews of the best credit cards for particular needs, or for example, if you like to travel, what are the best credit cards you could sign up for to help you get that business class seat for free. And there are also, people set up communities and forums on Discord. They send email newsletters. They also write tweets and threads like this one over here, where they tell them their credibility, why they're an expert in that field, and here are some free tips you can take away from it. So many ideas. You have to figure out, one, what's the best freebie to create for your niche, and two, how you can translate that freebie later on to a free product. So let's dig a little deeper into that. So the components of a free product, right? There's essentially three of them. First, this is often overlooked, but your free product has to be great. Like, it has to be good enough that people will want to, or people will be interested in buying what else you have to offer, if that makes sense. It's sort of like a preview or a teaser to what you have to offer, your paid product. And second, it has to have effective distribution. So you want your community and your people to know. And I'll show you how you can do that with Typedream later on. And it also has to be easy to get. You don't want a lot of red tape. You don't want a lot of steps in order to get that freebie. For example, if you're downloading a Notion template, you wouldn't want to, go through many different steps and then finally get the freebie. You want it to be as quick as one click as possible, if that makes sense. So how do we approach this? So step one, we have to offer enough value. That freebie, you cannot half-ass, because even though it is a free product, as I mentioned before, it is a stepping stone for you to sell your paid product to others. So put effort into this. Make sure that the level of depth is okay. For example, with Notion templates, it has to be detailed enough. It has to offer enough value in order for you to build that trust and gain that interest in your audience. And then you got to do a double check on whether the copywriting is okay, whether the product is appealing, whether it's neat and organized and not messy. So while you're building out the free product, ask your colleagues, ask your friends, ask people to give you a second opinion to see whether it catches their attention. And once you have that, you want to start putting the word out there, right? You want people to know about your free product. You want to start building your brand as a thought leader in that space. And if you're active on social media, one of the best ways you can do is leverage your social media following. And you can point people to your link in bio where you put your free product in there. So I'm gonna actually show you a very quick demo of how you can create a simple, beautiful link in bio on Typedream. So if you go to build.typedream.com and you sign up and you log in, it'll ask you to create a workspace. And in this workspace, let's start by saying I want a link in bio because that's what we want to create. And then you choose a username, let's say Johnny Bravo. Just picking a random name here. You can add your other social media, but let's skip that for now. And then once you have that, later on, we'll also want to sell digital products. So keep this in mind. So let's just continue first, right? So in this workspace, now we have, a link in bio that's pretty much set up. You can just change the details. And for example, in this card over here, which is called a list of cards, we already added one in here for you. You on the get-go, you can just click on that and add or remove or change these cards. So for example, if you click add item, right, this is going to be your free product. Let's say it's a free Notion template, whatever you want to call it later. Add a subtitle, add a product image, and you click apply changes, and it's gonna apply. It's gonna appear in the link in bio. When you view it on mobile, it's also going to be a scroll. You can scroll horizontally in this collection, and people will be able to see your free product. And then you can just share this link, put it in your Instagram bio, your Twitter header, and so on. Once you have that, the third and final step is make sure that it's easy to get that product. And what I've mentioned before about setting up a free product on Typedream products is exactly for that. So if we go back to our workspace here, we're going to go to products, click new, add products, and here you can say free Notion template, right, which is what we were creating before as an example. It's free. You're going to offer a link, right, to the Notion template, and then you're going to say create your product. And what's going to happen is you can put a product image, more descriptions, and then the content, you can drop the file here, or you can share a link to put here. And once you're done, you want to publish the product, and what you'll end up having is a link. When you copy this link, this is the product page, the checkout page that will be generated. And all the user needs to do is enter their email and click get the product, and it's that easy. You can copy this link and go back to the previous step, right, which is the link in bio. Go back to your link in bio and add the link to that free product. And that way, it's all connected, and in your Typedream workspace, you have both a product and you have also your link in bio that advertises the product, and you can track emails and see, who signs up to download your free product. So 3 steps: make sure your free product is good enough, don't half-ass it, do a great job with that, and then capture interest, post on social media, put it in your link in bio, and then use Typedream products to make sure that it's an easy checkout. So that's basically the 3 steps in order for you to put out a good free product, which will be your first step towards making your first dollar online.